I trained pure bodyweight calisthenics for years, and I hit a point where my progress just kind of stopped out of nowhere. I was lean, strong, but I wasn't really growing. And that is exactly the moment when I started to add some weight to my calisthenics and when I was introduced to weighted calisthenics. And in just a few months, I noticed my physique completely changing from being 160 pounds to going to 190 pounds in about 4 years time. So if you have been training calisthenics with body weight only and wonder how to add on more size to your physique, this is the exact guide I wish I had to starting weighted calisthenics. Now, why did I actually start weighted calisthenics? Well, there's a couple of reasons. When I first started training, I was actually more in love with bodyweight training compared to weighted calisthenics. And the reason why that was is because bodyweighted was just more accessible. It was more accessible and enjoyable for me for that reason. I could go to the park, feel like a real street workout athlete, and just do some push-ups, pull-ups, and dips and get a crazy pump from all these high reps, which, to be honest, I still really like to do that because that is where I kind of came from. I kind of grew up with that style of training. But after a little while, I switched to weighted calisthenics because I noticed that there was kind of a plateau that I was starting to hit when it comes to my physique, my strength, and my endurance. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna elevate all of these 3 aspects by starting weighted calisthenics. And so I did, and it changed my physique, strength, and endurance as well completely. And I'm right now in the top 1% of strength athletes, and people don't like to believe that, but if you have been able to do pull-ups 40 plus reps to going from pull-ups with 180 pounds and doing dips with 225 pounds for multiple reps, you're in the top 1% of strength athletes in the world. So if you have been training for a while, but you're stuck at the same size, strength, and everything, and you actually want to take it to the next level, my Jacked by Calisthenics blueprint shows you everything on how to progress from bodyweight to weighted and build muscle with the correct style of calisthenics training. It's linked in the top link in the description. Take a look at the people who are in there. They're actually growing and making progress very, very quick. So if you want to be able to send me messages like that in here, and I'll see you inside. So let's get into how to know you're ready to add some weight. There are, in my opinion, 3 very simple signs that you're actually ready to add on some weights to your body weight reps. And in my opinion, after you notice these 3 signs, you actually really should. Now, there are some exceptions, of course. Let's say you have seen all of these 3 signs, but then the moment when you try it, you're still feeling like you're not really ready. Then still, of course, do not do it. I'm not saying that the moment when you see these 3 things or when you notice these 3 things that you immediately want to go into weighted calisthenics for the rest of your life. For some people, they still might need some more time. And the second exception is if you actually want to stick to bodyweight training to further your endurance. Completely fine. So let's get into these 3 signs that you are going to see very soon, probably, and they will tell you that you're ready to move on to weighted calisthenics. The first one is going to be you want to add weights to your reps without you even noticing. So let's say the moment you go to the gym or go to the park or wherever you train and you feel like, I kind of just want to add weights to my pull-ups. I kind of want to add weight to my dips or to my push-ups or even my muscle-ups. That is basically a very clear sign that your mind is already moving on to the next level. That means that your body is basically ready for it. I started to do this a long time ago when I started to make the transition towards weighted calisthenics. Before I actually made the real transition and I was still sticking to bodyweight, my mind was just kind of automatically going to weighted calisthenics sets and creating weighted calisthenics sets in my head without me even ever being able to do weighted calisthenics because my body was actually quite ready for it. I was very good with my body weight. So the moment when I added on some weights, I was already quite strong. I was right. My mind was already kind of ahead. Then the second sign is going to be body weight reps upwards of 20 to 30 reps genuinely become easy. If you have been doing dips, pull-ups, squats, squats, of course, you can do for high rep for most beginners, but especially the upper body basics. If you have been noticing that you could pump out a 15 pull-ups, 20 pull-up set, maybe even more quite easily, and you think this is not really even a proper working set, same thing for dips, same thing for push-ups, that might be a clear indicator for you to actually add some weights and challenge yourself, bro. This is the beautiful part about weighted calisthenics and bodyweight calisthenics and calisthenics in general. When you have arrived at that time where your body is kind of ready to be able to move on towards progressively overloading with weighted calisthenics, you will start to notice that reps upwards of 20 when it comes to pull-ups and maybe 30 to 40 dips and maybe 50 to 60 push-ups do not really become incredibly hard no more. I remember when I used to do sets of 50 push-ups, that was still very challenging for me. Being able to do a set of 50 was crazy. Right now, it's nothing. To be honest with you, it's really nothing. I can pump out 50 for multiple sets quite comfortably, quite easy. Same thing with dips even. So if you are at that stage, then I definitely think that you should add some weights. So if you have been only seeing one of these signs in your life, in your training routine right now, and you think, should I already go to weighted calisthenics? Should I already make the transition? Then go ahead and get started. But make sure that whenever you feel like you are not really ready for it and you try it and you kind of feel like, my body is not really ready for this yet. I can only do a couple of reps with like very, very light weight. I think I should stick to body weight. That means that you should really stick to body weight and progress a little bit more further, because that means that there are more gains to be made in the body weight lifestyle. And then after you have been able to make more progression in that, then you can slowly start to transition into weighted calisthenics. But then the next question becomes, how do we actually go about adding some weights to our calisthenics exercises? How do we actually start after we have noticed these three signs? How do we now actually implement weighted calisthenics for the first time in our lives? To be honest, it's actually quite simple. The first thing that you want to do, and this should always be a priority number one, is focus on picking very light weights and doing slow and controlled reps with the basic calisthenics exercises. Don't think that, oh, I can do diamond push-ups, I can do pike push-ups, I can do all these things. Don't think add weights to these exercises, but add weights to the plain normal version of calisthenics exercises, such as the normal dip, the normal push-up, the normal pull-up, the normal row, and focus on progressively overloading each and every single week with just the reps at first. Back in the day, I used to train a lot of my friends, and right now I do it with my one-on-one coaching clients, which are also inside of the program, by the way. What I teach them with weighted calisthenics is pick a weight where you could do about 6 to 8 reps with, and with good quality and good tempo. If you have been able to, test some weights out and you think, this is a solid weight, this is challenging enough, but I can still do this properly. I don't want you to now increase the weight every single week, because this is not weightlifting, bro. This is calisthenics. Adding weights every single week from that point is actually a big mistake, because that means that our quality is gonna go down drastically. The most common mistake that I always see is that people start getting into weighted calisthenics, but then every single week they're increasing the weight drastically. And then I see the pull-up quality just go down by a shit ton. But that's not what I want you to do. What I want you to do is actually increase the reps first. So being able to go from 6 to 8 to about 8 to 10, or being able to do 2 sets to failure. And let's say you always hit 8 reps with 22-pound pull-ups. Next week, go do 2 sets to failure again, but try to see if you can get an extra rep at the end of every single set compared to last week. Increase the reps just by 1 or 2 or by however much you can do every single time you train. That's how you actually want to progress at first. And a moment when you're ready to increase the weight, your quality is not going to go down drastically. I made a video a long time ago on this channel talking about how I still do ring push-ups with just 45 pounds, and I have been sticking to 45 pounds for like a long ass time. Just recently, actually, I increased the weight to 66 pounds. And a lot of people were like, why so long for one weight? Aren't you supposed to progress? I said, yeah, I could progress, because I could do like, 10 solid reps with 45 pounds ring push-ups, but that does not mean that I should go up. It does not mean that, because my quality was still able to improve. So the moment when I did that, my reps are starting to drop again. And then I started to increase the quality again with the dropped reps and increase the reps again. And every single week I was progressing, and I got to about 15 quality reps for multiple sets. I think it was about 3 to 4 with 20 kg, 45 pounds. And then from there, I increased it to 66 pounds, going back to the same rep range I started with the 45 pounds. Do you now understand that you first need to actually prioritize your quality over just adding in weights? I know it's exciting. I know it's fun. I know you want to add weights incredibly quick and you want to start looking like a street lifter. I totally understand. And you might think, oh, I'm going to build crazy amounts of muscle if I just keep adding weights and do, get stronger at my weighted pull-up. I totally understand where that is coming from, but you still want to wait with that. Same thing when it comes to your dips, when it comes to even your push-ups, your pull-ups, you kind of want to wait. You kind of want to wait and think, I'm going to be smart and focus on the quality more. Once I have really became very comfortable with the exercise with that certain weight for good quality, now I'm gonna start to increase the weights. And the beautiful thing about that is, once you have made that step, is your quality does not go down. And when your quality does not go down, that means that your back is being stimulated properly during your pull-ups. That means that your triceps and chest are being stimulated properly during your dips. Because the less quality you have, the less your muscles are going to be stimulated. And we want to get bigger, right? We want to get bigger through weighted calisthenics. We want to make the step from body weight to weighted. So we still want to apply the same mindset to it, the same progressive overload style to it, and the same stimulus to it, which means that you still want to be targeting the muscles that you train and not just go heavier and heavier and heavier. We are not lifting weights. We're not just trying to move weight up and down. We're actually trying to use our bodies correctly if we want to grow muscle. Inside of my Jacked by Calisthenics blueprint, I exactly show you how to use weighted calisthenics and even how to combine body weight with weighted calisthenics, which is what I do as of right now, to be able to optimize the gains that you're going to make. If you actually want to get that anime fucking superhero type physique and get jacked with calisthenics in about 6 months, if you actually focus on it, then click the top link in the description and start training right now. I'll see you inside. I'll help you personally, and we're gonna get to that goal, bro. Which exactly brings us to the next chapter: how to combine body weight training and weighted training to be able to build more muscle than just body weight or just weighted. Now, in my opinion, you should, after a little while, do both, but not always. If you're a beginner weighted calisthenics athlete, so you just started weighted calisthenics, then just focusing right now on weighted calisthenics exercises and making sure that you're progressing is the best way to go about it. But let's say after a little while, you're even advanced with weighted calisthenics, the best thing to do to build muscle is to combine weighted calisthenics, your main low volume rep routine, plus adding in some body weight training where you're focusing purely on doing high reps, which is actually going to act as a progressive overload system for your weighted calisthenics routines. Now, you have to make sure that you program this correctly, because this could lead to a lot of overuse on the same exercises and joints and whatever. I have experienced it myself. But the best way to go about it is by actually having a set in stone low volume routine that you follow, where you do your weighted calisthenics basics, where you focus on getting stronger in them with lower reps upwards to about 8, and then on the side, maybe in week number 2, so in the second week that you're doing weighted calisthenics, focus on doing the exact same routine, the exact same structure, the exact same plan, but focus on down workouts, EMOM workouts, ladder workouts, pyramid workouts, all types of sets that are going to act as endurance workouts, so that you actually get the best of both worlds. Now, this is something that I do, but if you are still a beginner and you're more on the beginner side, then focus on just being able to progress with the dips, push-ups, squats even, and rows, so that you can actually build muscle in your entire upper body and progress with getting as strong as possible. So again, if you're serious about taking your physique to the next level with calisthenics and you actually want to train properly and know exactly what to do each and every single week, then click the top link in the description. I'll help you out to be able to go from skinny to jacked within about 6 months if you actually genuinely focus on it and you do the things correctly inside of the blueprint. Go ahead and go over there, click the top link in the description. I'll see you inside, and as always, watch this video right here, because in this video, I'm going to be showing you how I got my dream physique in my 20s using calisthenics and how you can do too.